Can you just tell me something about yourself, about your
Yeah.
current designation, what you are doing, what are the roles and responsibilities you are handling right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah, I have completed my engineering in 2020 in electrical domain, but after that I was hired by a software company called as Hexmoto, where they uh, gave me a training about both the software and manual testing. And first initial 8 months of my job was about the manual testing, where I was tested in a UA testing for e-commerce domain. After that, they moved me for Selenium, which I have learned most of them. They gave me KT, but also it was in a short period. Now I am doing the automation testing for a e-commerce domain.
okay. So, so your current company right now?
It's a hex motto.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you do as part of automation right now?
I generally go through the requirement of my like lead, what he tells me to do, like writing a XPath mainly if there is any change and I have to do this, then I will write the XPath. If there is if the dynamic XPath is required to change, I will do those things. It's only a 2 month of the experience, not much. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, sure. So
I'm learning day
yeah,
to day.
I'll ask you questions on Selenium and then Java, and
Yeah, sure.
probably yeah, I think it's good to cover manual testing as well because since you have 1 year of experience, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's good to have start with manual testing as well.
yeah, yeah.
So can you just tell me like what do you mean by SDLC? Software.
Yeah, yeah, software development life cycle, in which we first gather the informations,
Mhm.
requirements. After that, after the requirements, we will do the feasibility of those requirements, and there will be a like coding done by the developer, and there will be the QA will test the testing, and the implementation. After that, it will follow some. There will be a steps which was followed by the requirement.
Can you just briefly about like in one word like what are the different stages we have in software life cycle?
Yeah, first step is requirement step. Then there will be a feasibility step. Then there will be a designing. Then coding, testing, implementation, and yeah, implementation and maintenance. Yeah,
Release and maintenance. Yeah.
yeah, release.
So can you just tell me a few software development models?
Agile, like agile and waterfall model, where we generally used agile methodology in our projects.
So
Yeah.
what do you mean by agile? What is agile methodology basically?
Agile means it is the iteration where we do the we process in a step by step wise or iteration wise, which is very convenient rather than using a waterfalls model, because it gives a very good communication between the developer, any developer or tester with the customers. If there is any at any point of the process, if the customer wants any changes, we can take it, and any we can make the as I told, if the process is in step by step wise, if the one module is complete, we can directly deliver to the customer without wasting the time, which makes the agile process which very easy, very useful.
So what is your first approach? No, I mean when you get any new implementation is developed by the development team, when it comes for testing, so what is your first approach? How you proceed? What are
Yeah,
the steps?
there was one document, FRS document. I used to go through that. From that, I came to know what and all, which are the fields I have to test, or which is very important. Where I used to write a test cases regard. those steps we come to know, and what are the technologies they used in those things. We come to know about that, and they provide some time for us to read those documents
Mhm.
initially. According to that, I used to,
So
yeah.
you're working in agile methodology only, right? Agile environment.
Yeah,
Your current
like
project.
yeah, we used to switch between that, yeah, agile sometimes, and yeah, yeah, agile most of the time agile only. But in agile, the main difficulty is that they provides very low documentation. I used to ask my seniors regards that, yeah.
So let's say if they are providing, they are not providing the enough information, or if you're not getting the PRD document or FRS document. So how would you, yeah, approach like to write the test cases, right? That the first thing is you go through the requirement and then write, convert them into test cases. So what is
Mm-hmm.
your approach in case if you don't get enough documentation?
If there is no there was no enough documentation means like there were be the meetings regarding that, where the like scrum meetings and all, where he used to tell, the scrum master used to tell what to do, or like what are the test cases should be executed. He used to tell us daily, like he will give the information regarding that.
So basically, we can connect with a development team and
Yeah,
develop this software, and then we can connect with a BA team, right? To
yeah,
gather the
waiting. Yeah,
requirements, yeah.
yeah,
Then we get as much as information possible, and then we can convert them into scenarios and test cases.
yeah. Scenarios. Yes. Yeah.
What is the difference between retesting and regression testing?
Retesting is done when the testing is already done. If there is any bug or anything, we used to get a retesting process. If the developer fix those bugs, and if we further process, we will test the, if the test the application again, means it's called as retesting. Regression testing means if there is in one application there are 5 6 modules will be present.
Mhm.
If the developer add again one module, means the effect of that module over existing module, we have to check all those things. Yeah, that is called as regression testing. Well,
Basically,
it's,
we'll make sure that unchanged functionality should
yeah,
not get
unchanged.
impacted.
Yeah, yeah, unchanged testing. Yeah,
Answering.
yeah,
So yeah, let's move to technical things, Java and then Selenium.
yeah.
I think you have knowledge of, you have mentioned C as well, right? And a good knowledge
Yeah.
on Java.
Yeah,
So,
Java currently I know, because C was I was studying during our college days.
so what is the basic difference between Java and C? Like we all know, what is the basic difference?
Basic means Java is a platform independent, and C is a platform independent. It is the main, and in C we used to use the concept called as pointer, whereas in Java there is no concept called as pointers and all. Yeah.
And another
It is
like basic
object
difference, I would
oriented.
say it's object-oriented programming, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Java.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is
object.
procedural.
Yeah.
So what are the different OOPS concept we have in Java or in any
Inheritance,
object-oriented programming?
yeah, inheritance, encapsulation, polymorphism, in which the overriding and overloading concept will be presented. Yeah, these are the main OOPS concepts.
What is the difference between method overloading and overriding?
Overloading means we can create a multiple like methods with the same name, and with the different signatures, like parameter can be different.
Correct.
Whereas method overriding means uh, this the subclass provides implementation of a method which is already present, provided by the parent class. Like the parent class has the same property, but in the subclass we can make a little alters, and that is
And
called override.
so in overriding, how to access parent class method in case of overriding?
Like access, we can directly access parent class.
Do you have, are you aware of super keyword?
Super keyword, yes. Yeah, super keyword is used when we want like both the like constructors, like when the parameter constructors of both the parent and child class is required, then we use super constructor.
Suppose we want to access, then we can use super keyword parent class method,
Yeah,
overriding method, right?
yeah.
Now, I mean, in Java, we execute our program with the help of main method. Okay,
Mm.
so we used to write public static void main, right?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
What is public here? Can you just describe like main method? What do you mean by public void is three? What do you mean by public?
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah. The public is a SS modifier, which provides the scope for methods, variables, and classes.
What is static?
Static is like keyword. It is a keyword, uh, um, which is like which like storing of a memory, like which defines the where the variable stores its memory.
So we want to make it when we make any variable global class
Mm.
level, then we used to declare static, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Then we can use in method as well, like
yeah,
we have in main method. So no need to create the object.
yeah.
What is thread dot slip? You might come across this dot slip.
It is an unconditional wait. I guess we can add wait. It is an unconditional wait. After some, when we require some extra weights, then we can add this thread dot sleep.
So what is the syntax?
Thread dot sleep, and after the bracket we can add like 5,000 for specifically 5 second of wait I used to get remains. I can enter 5,000 and
So
the some.
what do you call this thread dot slip? Whether you call dynamic or static wait?
It's a dynamical wait, I guess. Yeah.
No, no, it's static wait
Okay. 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 Okay.
because the thread will be slipped for that particular period of time.
Okay. Yeah.
Thread will slip for, say if you define like 5,000 for five
Uh,
seconds, it will be stopped.
yeah.
So yeah, coming to Selenium side, so you have experience in TestNG, object model.
Yeah, those and all. I did the self learning, and I got some KT from my seniors. Uh, yeah,
So I'll ask some basic questions only.
yeah, yeah, sure, yeah.
So first of all, like why do we use like what are the test cases we can automate using Selenium? What are the test cases which we can, manual test
Mm.
cases? What are the go for
Uh,
Selenium?
like WebDriver related test cases, like how
Like in general, like how do you select test cases for automation?
like launch. We generally use like launching of a web pages or those kinds of things, like which is done automatically.
Actually, no, you can answer like whenever we have repeatable test cases, right, and functional test cases, we can automate
Uh,
using Selenium. And when we have repeatable test cases, and then that
yeah,
actually I wasn't
yeah,
expecting that answer. Like those are the criteria
yeah.
to go for automation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and we have locators in Selenium. So what do you mean by
Hmm.
locators, and what are the different locators?
Yeah, locator means it is used for finding the elements from the web page. Web page. We generally use the XPath widely as a locator, but there are any others locators also like ID, class names, and partial link
Text.
and partial link test, um, and tag
So,
names.
okay,
Tag
good.
names. There are
So,
8 types of locators are there.
so take an example. Let's say you have a login screen on
Mm.
any website, and you
Mm.
have user ID,
Mm.
password, and we have forgot password also. Right?
Ah.
Link is there. A link is
Mm.
there. So
Mm.
how do you locate that forgot password link?
Uh, Link for link which ID I used to get, like get. You are asking me like
Yeah,
that,
like
right?
which locator we can use, which
Yeah,
we should which when which locator we should go for.
partial link text will be
Yeah, that's
taken.
fine. Link test, partial link
Link
test.
text, yeah.
Now,
Those.
suppose you want to enter anything, let's say any input box, have
Hmm.
user ID and password field. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, can you just tell me how do you write, how do you enter username? Just give me code snippet for that.
Yeah, driver dot find element XPath I will add like ID XPath of the that
If ID is
text
available, then
box.
you can use ID. Yeah, ID is the
Yeah,
best.
if ID is available, I will ID is equal to something like login box or anything. Send keys whatever the message are like username I will send by the send keys.
What is the difference between find element and find elements?
Find element will find if we in the case of find element it will find only the particular element, only the single elements. In find elements it will find all the element in the web page, and we can store it in a list, I guess, list collection, yeah.
And
In
what is the
list.
different? Sorry, what do you mean by assertion in by assertion?
Assertion is used for verification.
How do you
uh,
verify?
assert is equal to fail or pass, we can mention after the test cases.
Assert equals, so expected
Assert
and
equals,
actual,
yeah,
two
yeah,
parameters we have,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And in TestNG, what are the different? Might be using TestNG for framework, right?
Yeah,
So, so what are the different annotations we have in TestNG?
yeah. Um, at, at test, before test, after
Mhm.
test, before method, after method, before class, after class, suits of before suits and after suits.
After.
Yeah, those are the.
You have certain test cases. Let's say you have 10 test cases, or
Mm.
yeah, that's fine, 10 test cases. Now you want to execute the particular test case on certain, you want to give certain priority,
Uh,
give priority to
mm,
your test cases. So
yeah.
how do you do that?
There is a feature in TestNG where we can prioritize the test cases. If we like priority is equal to one, we can mention in is the annotation after the priority is equal to one after that bracket. If I want the 10 cases accordingly after the 1, 2, 3, 4, I can priority is equal to 1 after the test case 1, then I can mention like that. Otherwise, it will be executed according to their alphabetical orders.
Okay, so take an example. You have given like priority 0 and priority 1.
Yeah.
For first method, priority 1, priority 0, and second one, priority 1. So how
Mm.
it will be executed?
Yeah, first zero itself executed.
Okay.
After that one executed.
Now let's say you have two methods and we haven't provided the priority. Let's say method B and then method C.
Yeah.
So how it will
Hmm.
be executed?
B will execute first, after that C will
Because of
execute.
alphabetical order.
Alphabetical order, yes.
So do you have, I think you have mentioned SQL as well. Right?
Yeah.
So you have experience in SQL, writing queries.
Yeah, I have written queries. As I told, it is also my self-learning. During my free time, I used to learn SQL and Unix also. Yeah, I've gone through those things also. Yes.
So let me give an example. Let's
Yeah.
say you have one employee table.
Yes.
We have employee ID and we have, let's say we have order ID, not order ID, maybe
Mm.
project ID is there, right?
Mm.
Employee ID and
Mm.
then project ID. So project ID are duplicated there in the employee ID table. Project details. Let's take an example of project details, and here
Mm.
where we have project employee name and then project ID. So project ID are duplicated over there. So how do you write? How to get the duplicated record in that table?
Okay. We can use group by clause, I guess, for duplicate to retrieving the duplicate IDs. Select uh, select whatever the duplicates we want. That if the
Group
select
right?
name,
Mhm.
yeah, group ID from employee table or something, we can group by the group ID.
And there is one more condition, like
Yeah.
having clause we have to use, and then
Yeah, having clause is used only when the group by
one more function, aggregate function as well, which
uh,
will
for which the maximum or minimum,
not
like,
maximum,
yeah,
count, count,
how
so
count,
that
yeah,
it will count greater than one, so that it
yeah,
will
yeah,
filter out
yeah, yes,
duplicate
yes,
records,
yeah, 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 got it,
right?
yes. Mm.
Now another question, very common question, like how do you get the second largest salary in table? Just give me one way. Anything is fine.
Yeah,
There are
can I
different
tell
ways.
you what, like query or only?
Yeah,
I
anything
can,
is fine. I mean, you just give me. I think
yeah, the subquery is used over here. Select select salary from employee, where sal should be greater than max salary from the employee. We used to write two queries, and I can use the limit where the second should be appear. Yeah. 0 to 2, where I will get has a second person has a first one.
so. Suppose you want to use max. How do you derive the max aggregate function?
First, I will write the query for the maximum person.
Maximum
Um,
salary.
yeah, for like select max of salary from the employee. I will write that query. After that, I will write another query for the person who will get less than the maximum salary. Select the salary from the employee table where the salary must be less than the maximum salary of that maximum salary of the person. Then afterwards, I will use the limit clause where I will get for this query 0 to 1 I will do. In that table, the person will appear as the first one.
I
The
think you are
second.
making it complex. So I think you can write like select max of salary from employee table and their
Mm,
salary not in again in the subquery in the bracket you can write select
mm,
max of salary. So it will exclude the inner query will execute first and then it will exclude the maximum salary, right? And then
uh,
it will go for the second largest,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So I think you have some knowledge on Unix as well. So just give me some commands of Unix, Unix,
Yeah,
Unix command.
like yeah, I know only basic commands like how to create a files, like where we use cat command for creating the files, and for creating a directory, mkdir directory, grep commands. I know word count commands. Like for top 10 records, like head tail commands, listing of the files in directory, ls minus r, ls ls minus l, ls minus a, um, then cmode command, uh,
What is
uh,
grep command? Grep grep command.
grep command is using for the searching a particular pattern where I need from the file or directories. Particular pattern.
One last question from Selenium. What is the
Hmm.
difference between driver.close and driver.quit?
Yeah, driver dot close is used when I have to particularly close that window, like particular which is using like open window, and when the driver dot quit is used, it will close all the window which is open in the table.
And one question from Java. Like
Yes.
we have different loops, right?
Yeah.
What is enhanced loop or for loop? Can you just give me the syntax of for loop?
Yeah, for A is to be again like um, for loop is used like when we know the starting point and ending point of the iteration.
When we do iteration, we use loops, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So enhanced for loop is for array or collection.
yeah, yeah. For
You heard about
A,
collection framework?
yes,
We have array list,
yeah, I know. Yes,
tag.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I think I'm done from my side.
yes,
We have covered everything, correct?
yeah.
So do you have any question for me?
Yeah, I want to give my interviews regarding the automation, and I want to change my company. Is I'm ready to give the interview? I want to ask.
I mean, I think you have good knowledge. You need to just brush up your knowledge.
Yeah.
Java is actually most important when you go for Selenium and Java.
Hmm.
So you need to just prepare more on Java
Hmm.
than Selenium, whatever basic question I have asked. So you have good
Yeah.
knowledge actually.
Yes.